what is the benefit of mindfulness practice? What is the most important benefit of mindfulness practice? I would say it helps us to discover or what? Peace and relaxation in our mind. So therefore, no matter how long you are going to meditate, try to meditate with mindfulness. The duration is not that important. The way you practice, the quality, right? Quality of your meditation. But as I said, this is, you always keep in mind, if you put too much sort of incorrect pressure in your mind, or if you try too hard to kind of stick with mindfulness practice when you meditate, then it gives you more discomfort and you are sort of irritated with yourself. So I think it is very important to make yourself feel comfortable physically and mentally when you meditate. Teachers always say that mindfulness in action or being mindful in our daily life is more important than formal meditation, because it can help us directly in our daily life. So when we are mindful of our thoughts, then we're not stuck sort of too much on our memories in the past, right? Most people stuck and they're sort of this image, memories in the past. And when you bring that into your daily life, it really harms, it brings lots of discomfort, unhappiness. These are not necessary, right? So this is very important. But we have to think, how do we make a good connection between the sitting practice of meditation and meditation in action in everyday life? I think that's very important. If you are a beginning practitioner, I would say you should not meditate upon anything. You should simply be present in a very simple way. Like you should use your breath as a reminder of mindfulness, your life. So as this meditators, right? Meditators say that practice mindfulness. Meditation can help develop self-awareness, because increased, attention, as well as reduce our stress, anxiety. Teachers also say that another important foundation of mindfulness practice is being mindful of the mind itself, right? That means looking at the mind with a gentle relaxation. So that means simply watch your mind without losing the self-awareness. This means sometimes people are confused. Watch your mind without losing its awareness. That means when you look at your mind, right? Look at your mind. That is action, right? Look at your mind. So that act of looking is just enough. That's it, nothing else. In this way, when you're focusing on your mind, your concentration is directed toward looking at your mind. So that means watch whatever arises in your mind, but don't follow those arisings. Just recognize and relax and awareness. So this time you're not like focused on your breath or any other object, but kind of mind itself becomes like the object. Then the awareness is the observer. Usually, as I said, thinking is a natural function of the mind, right? So as I said, there's no need to stop thoughts. So the goal is not to stop your thoughts completely, but practice mindfulness is all about learning to be more aware of your thoughts without making judgment on them. Does that make sense? Yeah. Let thoughts come and go without paying too much attention to them. So that means like, don't think who is looking at the mind. What is different between mind and awareness? Don't make these questions while you are meditating. Otherwise, you're going to lose the essence of meditation. So mindfulness meditation is a mental training practice that teaches us to slow down our thoughts. So mindfulness can be practiced in a different ways, and we have all of these different instructions for it, right? So it all depends on what works for you, okay? I'm not saying that you should use all these 3 methods and all this, that's the best for you. I'm just saying that these 3 methods and whatever we are discussing today about, according from the Buddhist perspective, these are the very common sort of methods and, instructions. But it depends on what works for you, so you can choose the best instruction that works for you, okay? Because people are different. But the point, in the Buddhist teachings is getting to know, whatever you use the instructions or, method, is getting to know your own mind is the key thing, right? The reason is very simple, because everything that we experience in day-to-day life is discovered within the mind. So the mind is experiencer of each moment of our life. So therefore, whatever method we use, meditation is just to get into know our mind and make it positive. Okay? The teachers always say that in the practice of the mindfulness of mind, if you try to get sort of special experience of mindfulness, as you look harder for that, you begin to lose the sense of mindfulness. Okay? I know you guys want a like immediate result, right? But that's as you look for that, like harder, then you begin to lose the essence and the meditation. So you have to let go of that kind of expectation. Very important. Sometimes people say, if you don't have an expectation, you're not going to develop whatever you're doing. That's not true. That's opposite. Keep that in mind. And then that expectation we're talking, it's actually another, I think, form of attachment and desire, Are we trying to reduce attachment desire? If we do, then I think the expectation and the looking sort of special experience from your meditation, that's another attachment desire, So the purpose of mindfulness meditation is not to make our mind completely sort of empty, which means there is no single thought, but instead to make our mind more mindful and learn to relax and stay present with awareness. And as we develop our capacity to be mindful through meditation, we will discover that we can be relaxed, we can be aware and pay attention to the purpose of daily life. That's the point, I think. That's the point. So mindfulness is, itself is a basic sort of this quality, human quality, It is always there. It is always there as a potential, but we're not always sort of aware or using it, right? Mindfulness. There are many ways to explain or describe mindfulness. But, the point is mindfulness meditation is a way of reconnecting with the natural quality of awareness and presence we all have. As I said, we start with very simple meditations such as sitting and breathing. You don't try to get away from your thoughts. They come, go, and they also merge into each other. So when you see that, then you will they come, they go, they merge into each other, they dissolve, they disappear. When you see that through your meditation, mindfulness meditation, then you will take the sort of attitude that they are not a big deal. They're not a big deal. Watch your mind carefully and be aware and try to sort of deal skillfully with problems as they arise, and keep coming back to the present and let yourself fully notice what is there. So when we meditate in this way, it allows us to relax. I think that's first step. So therefore, we will see meditation as a process of natural development. As I said, it is important to make a commitment, discipline to practice every day, okay? I heard the science say that, mindfulness is good for your mind and body, health, everything, but they say you don't have to meditate every day, like 3 times a week. I don't think that's enough. I would say practice every day, make a commitment. The duration of time is up to you, but try to meditate every day. And the commitment is very important. And in order to maintain your commitment, that commitment we make, also, keep that commitment. In order to keep that commitment, we must have a good understanding of the essence of practice that we are doing. And also an understanding of the benefit of the practice so that we can keep our commitment. And based on that, we can practice diligently. Okay? The ultimate goal in mindfulness practice is, there is a relaxation comes, but it's not only the relaxation. Mindfulness is about, according to Buddhism, it's a paying attention with sensitivity and non-judgmental awareness. So this meditation could be a journey of self-discovery. That's what my teacher said. And I mentioned this many times, but it's very important when you meditate, you notice that your mind wanders all the time. Don't be hard on yourself, just to relax, pay attention there again. Okay, that's that. Now, another important part of remember is not forgetting to bring the good experience of your meditation into your daily activities, right? So you should try to mix your practice with your daily activities. Of course, do your daily things, but do them together with your practice, such as, try to be mindful, think about Bodhicitta, and try to be kind. These are very useful and day to day in our life. Okay? Because if you forget, usually we do, right? If you forget all your meditation practice during your daily activities, then, we're really not connecting with our meditation. So we have to, remember that. And also we have to work on our selfish mind. We need to start with seeing our selfish mind as the root of all our problems. And then we need to work on reducing the selfish mind, selfishness. And when we're talking about this selfishness, there are two important antidotes for this. One is, of course, meditating on the nature of mind, right? Then, of course, you can completely sort of transform your selfishness into ultimate bodhicitta. That's one antidote. The other antidote is practicing bodhicitta, right? Bodhicitta, especially as ordinary people, like us, the only way to reduce selfishness is working with bodhicitta, relative bodhicitta. Because this selfish mind needs to be less power in order to have a gentle and kind mind. And once the selfish mind is reduced through practicing bodhicitta, then we are no longer an ordinary person. Therefore, at first, we have to look at our motivation, and we should make an aspiration to help others and want to develop our ability to genuinely care for others, and so on. So all of these are related to bodhicitta practice. Okay? But I will teach more and in detail about these things during the teaching on way of bodhisattva, okay? If you will be able to attend to those teachings. Now, we have been talking about the important foundations for our practice, and you have learned how to correct your motivation at the beginning of your sort of day before you do anything. Not only meditation though. People think like when you sit your cushion, then you need to correct them. Not only that, even like word, in your daily life, you should correct your motivation if you can. The second, you have learned today, how to practice mindfulness throughout the day, right? That's the second spirit method. And the way to practice with a mind free of concept is you have to use the three spirit methods that we have been discussing. You also have learned how to rest your mind, how to continue rest your mind, how to replace or reconnect your mind in these three stages. these are the general sort of foundations of a good meditation. I'm just giving you here like summary of today's like the teaching, okay? Because when my teachers always do that, it's very helpful, because otherwise I'm talking a lot today. And then what is the essence? What do I need to remember, keep in my mind? So if I can give you, summarize the teaching, that will help you to sort of easy to remember the essence of the teaching, you know. So yeah, the general, like how this is how you meditate, and these are the general sort of stages of meditation. I'm not saying you must use this, but it's just general stages of meditation. If you should try, if it works, good. So I think it's good for everybody who would like to practice meditation. I mean, and the one important thing I will always mention is the inner foundation, right? Inner foundation. That is the practice in contentment and satisfaction. We should try to live our lives with contentment and be satisfied with what we have. Because if we are not satisfied with what we have in our current life, it can be more difficult to have peace and happiness of mind. To have peace and happiness mind, contentment is what we should practice or remember. Because if we are content with the present and are grateful for everything that we have, then we are letting go of painful desires for what we can't have. And when we are satisfied with what we already have and what we need, we may not desire for anything more than what we need. And then we sort of relieve ourselves from the stress of wanting more and more. So I think it is important to ask yourself, is there a way to live in everyday life of satisfaction and contentment? How do we live a simple life? And what can we do to make our life simple? This is really good for everyone, but especially good for Buddhist practitioners. So first, to understand how we could lead a simple life and make a plan, and then act on that and make your life simple and continue to keep it simple, right? Otherwise, we create strong desire and we create our sort of dissatisfaction. We create our own suffering and unhappiness. And our mind is blinded by attachment, desire, anger, constantly unsatisfied. You know, first time when I came to this country, I thought, this is amazing, I thought it is amazing, like whatever you want, everything is available. I mean, almost everything, whatever you want. And I thought, people here must be very happy, right? But then the more I know people's life here, a lot of people are missing their inner happiness. Even though they have everything, they go through all these challenges, stress, anxiety, disappointment, worry, depression, etc. So outwardly, we have everything, the best in the world. But inwardly, we don't have peace and happiness. Why is that? Why is that? Maybe you are one of them. Maybe you are not. So think. I think that the problem is, I think like this dissatisfaction. The more you have, more you want. And then most people think the money can bring the happiness, everlasting happiness, the inner peace. Most people believe it. I think that's another problem. So then they work very hard, make money. It's good. It's important. It's important. But more important is we have to recognize what makes and what brings, this inner happiness. So I think it's important to appreciate our lives and be grateful for everything that we have. So these positive thoughts can bring happiness, really. Peace in your daily life can change your life. I think many people don't recognize how fortunate they are. They're always missing something. They always want more and more. So this precious human life with the good opportunities, it's so important how fortunate we are. Anyway, so first, I think you should always try to develop these important foundations. No need to rush into other practice before a solid foundation has been established. Satisfied, contentment, bodhicitta, mindfulness. Okay? As we discussed in earlier teaching, the first two of the three spirit methods is motivation and a mind free of concept. Right? We can do these things. And now the last one of the three spirit methods is the dedication. Okay? As you know, dedication means sharing, basically. For example, there are two people, but only one of them has food, and the person who has food could just keep the food for himself. Instead, out of compassion, the food is shared with the other person. Dedication is similar to this kind of sharing. So we accumulate merit by listening teachings or meditate, kind mind, bodhicitta, mindfulness, everything. We accumulate this positive and virtuous merit, right? So whatever source of virtue we have accumulated, however great or small they might be, we must dedicate them, okay? If you have, as I said, you have a great food, delicious food, and then the other people don't have it, and then selfishly you eat your food and don't share them, you feel like, kind of like, how do you feel? I mean, selfish people don't care, but, you know, that's kind of things. If you accumulated this positive and virtues and, you know, great merit, but if you are not share, then there's not much, you know, benefit, you know. So we must dedicate. We must share our merit, virtues. So dedicate not only for ourselves, but for all beings, for, you know, attainment of enlightenment, right? Temporarily, everybody's, you know, it brings happiness, harmonies, all these things. Ultimately, attainment of enlightenment. So that's the essence. That's the essence, or another motivation, right? But then how do we dedicate? The easy way to dedicate is with the thought that we are dedicating just as the great masters, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas did in the past. That's the easiest way to dedicate for us, like for ordinary people. Easiest way. The best way to dedicate is resting in the nature of mind beyond the ordinary mind. That is the Dharmakaya dedication. But it's beyond the, you know, capability of ordinary people. However, it is good enough if we think just as the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas dedicated their merit, I will do the same as well. This would be good dedication. This will be good enough. So it's very easy. I mean, today I'm talking about everything is based on like as ordinary people, right? So dedication. If you're not ordinary people, I don't have to talk. I don't have to how to dedicate or how to, you know, correct, motivate. None of that. But when we, you know, meditate, dedication, all of this, like simple way, easy way, you know. And also, you know, like this also involved with the second, the middle, the what do you call it, three spirit, one of the three, the mind free of concept, right? Because dedication with attachment is like poisonous food. You know, you think like, oh, I today did good job, and, you know, like I had a good meditation, I accumulated great merit. So that's I mean, it's good, but we should not dedicate with attachment, but dedication with freedom from attachment, freedom from clinging, and for the benefit of others. It's like, you know, as I said, sharing a delicious food with others who need it. So dedication should correspond with our motivation. So if our motivation is cultivated virtue of the sake of all sentient beings, our dedication should be for them as well. Because it would not make any sense to generate bodhicitta first, right? And then at the end, dedicate the merit for our own benefit. Doesn't make sense, right? So we have been talking a lot about how to correct motivation, how important it is. And then at the end, we dedicate merit for ourselves, for benefit of ours. Doesn't make sense. So we should do both. That's why this 3-spirit method is the key of Dharma practice or Dharma teaching. There is another way, I will let you know that. Maybe already you know that, but what is the difference between dedication and aspiration? In Tibet, like Ngowa and Molam. Dedication and aspiration are different, right? For example, when you see a statue of Buddha and you pray in front of the statue of Buddha, you pray, may all sentient beings have happiness. This is not dedication. This is aspiration, right? However, if you then clean the statue of Buddha or dust off the statue of Buddha and dedicate that action with, may all sentient beings be free from their afflictions, just as this dust is removed, then your dedication, that action for the benefit of all beings. Okay? That's the difference. So the main purpose of this life, according, from the Buddhist perspective, purpose of life is benefiting all living beings. Either mentally or physically. So therefore, it would be great if you make a vow or commitment, like from now on, whatever actions I do will be the beneficial for all living beings. Whatever I experience in my life, I dedicate it to all these mother sentient beings. That's your commitment. I mean, you have to do something, right? You spend a lot of time listening, meditating, so you should do something, like make a commitment, make a vow, whatever you call it. Okay? That's for today's teaching. Like we had talked about this 3-spirit method. Everything include whatever you do, 3-spirit method. Never ever forget this 3-spirit method. And then if you have a little bit difficult to do 3-spirit method practice, then you need mindfulness and all this kind of methods, okay? So now I hope you understand the 3-spirit method, how to practice them, using all of those methods that we discussed today. Now again, lastly, maybe we should meditate for a few minutes. I'm sure you're a little bit tired, I think, but for maybe 5 minutes. 5 minutes meditate, and then we'll end and finish for today's teaching and meditation. And then we'll dedicate everything. Finally, I would like to thank maybe okay, first meditation. Yeah, before meditate, conclude, like, I would like to thank you all for coming this class, listening to these teachings and doing the meditations together. I think we create something, good karma. We can carry that karma life after life. And I hope your practice will grow and will bring a lot of benefit and happiness. And I also would like to I would like to thank Bodhicitta Sangha. Thank you to our board members, and thank you to our volunteers for all the helps. Yeah, okay. That's all. Thank you very much. Now I can give you a little bit the sort of instructions for meditation. Usually during meditation, there are different feelings, different thoughts will arise. That's usual. But as I said, we should recognize them. And the essential thing is not to let any feeling or thought arise without recognize it. That's the essential point. And we should also know how to observe and recognize the presence of every feeling and thought which arise in us. That means when a feeling of, for example, sadness, whatever arise, immediately recognize it rather than follow the feeling of sadness. And if the feeling of sadness continues, then continue to recognize it, just to recognize. And if a different feeling or thought arises, recognize it in the same way. And then just to relax, gently focus on your breath with your this awareness. And this way, your meditation can help you to, as I always say, like discover the inner freedom and happiness. And if you think also we've done this three syllables, focus on that. That's very, very helpful and good method. You can change sort of this object, whatever it works for your meditation. So I usually meditate on them a lot. You say, ah. So when you breathe out, at the same time you say like silently. If you say loudly, that takes lots of energy, But in silently, nothing. So just say Om, and then breathe out, right? And then you breathe in with the relaxation, the peacefulness. And then you say breathe out. And when you breathe out, then and then breathe in with the relaxation. Then breathe out. Then breathe in, relaxation. Sometimes you need a little bit time in between because your breath sometimes short, So you breathe in. breathe out, say Om, and then you pause there for a while, whatever you want. Then when you're ready, breathe in. When you breathe in, you don't have to focus on the syllables. When you breathe out, then you say, that's another one. Or you can just, focus on your thoughts and breath. That will be just fine, okay? So for this time, I will meditate on 5 minutes. For 5 minutes. Are you ready? All right.